Now, in our lab session, we have seen the URLs. URLs are related to S3 object, S3 bucket also. Bucket you can create as a website page. Again, your object can be declared as public, which can give URL also to look into the object on internet. I mean, using the browser, right?
Oh,
What are these pre-signed URLs? How the mechanism is going to work? We'll see in this. All Amazon S3 objects by default are private. Basically, it is for confidential purpose, for security purpose. By default, it creates as a private object, right? Which is
yeah.
not visible to the public, and meaning that only the owner has access. So when you create your objects, you will have access to the objects. Others will not be able to see that by
Okay.
default. However, the object owner can optionally share objects with others by creating a pre-signed URL using their own security credentials to grant time-limited permissions to download the objects. Let us say there is one online movie streaming company. You take Netflix or Prime Video or anything. For the members, free membership will be there. You take that example or scenario. Weeks period or 1 week period. Then during that time, what happens? They will give access to particular URLs for streaming movies. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
Then after that, it will be disabled it. That kind of options can be used here using the pre-signed URLs. In fact, you need to try that, but only thing is you need to have credentials of other people. Other people ID. You can take my ID. I'll tell you during the lab session today. Maybe assignment can be given there, or you can do one thing. You can create your security group in the lab session. Particular user ID. When you create a security group, what happens? It will give direct console to the user.
Yeah. Using that user, we can check.
Yes. See, let us say you assume you are a corporate account holder. Corporate main admin will give access to the other team members also.
Yes.
And then like that, you can give access to other user ID. You can open that other user ID in another browser also. Then through that, the pre-signed URL can be accessed. You have to try this step. Just note down this point also in your lab session.
Yeah, sure.
Page number 27.
Create a user and
you give access to a particular user. Then again, that particular user ID need to be existed in the security group.
Yeah, correct.
You create a resource group first. After creating resource group, what happens? You will have your resource ID, such kind of thing. Then that IDs can be used in the security group, declare permissions. Then that particular user ID will appear here to whom to give access.
Okay.
In the object screen. You remember the object screen when you have created it, access permissions are there one screen.
Yeah, correct.
In that, you can assign to particular IDs also. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you create a pre-signed URL for your object, you must provide your security credentials and specify a bucket name and object key, the HTTP method, and an expiration date. Basically, whether it is a put or get, that kind of things, you are going to do that. Now, let us go back to the options on the screen on these objects. There are commands, different commands, right?
Yeah, get, put.
Yes, these are the operations we are going to release it. Get a list of all buckets. If you want to see the buckets, when you click on the S3 object, S3 options, S3 services, it will give all the list of the buckets, right?
Yes.
In your case, you might have created only single bucket, but you can create multiple buckets and test that also. When you are executing that, there is a get command being executed in the backend. Right? Then what is put? Put bucket is create a new bucket. Let us say you want to create a new bucket, create option, you are clicking it. Then put command is going to be executed through the JSON in the backend.
So script using JSON script, we can create multiple buckets, right?
You will not be doing that here. It is already available through the options. What the options they are doing in the backend is using this kind of operations. This kind of operations will have a particular JSON script.
Okay.
It is a predefined scripts. then those will be executed there.
Now, if I want to create multiple buckets, for example, I want to create 10 buckets.
Yeah, you go to the CLI, CLI options are there.
CLI options.
We are yet to see CLI options actually in this lab. We have to try that also.
Okay.
Try using that option. We have to go through the documentation. Just remember it. In today's part 2 session, just let us explore that also apart from the chapter 3. Let us dedicate only for lab of that session.
Okay.
So we'll drill down all those things, right? And you can keep the Ubuntu machine readily available VM before the session itself. It takes some time to booting.
Yeah, sure.
Then get when you say list contents of the object, when you are clicking on the object URL, there is a link, object link on the screen. You are checking the box and clicking on that. Then automatically it is going to display the contents of the bucket. What are the contents? Objects, right? So get is going to be executed in the backend. Then when you want to delete the bucket, there is a delete option. You click on that, it is going to be executed delete operation.
Yeah.
Then put is there. Put bucket or object. Both of them can be used it for both buckets and also objects. Create or update object. Let us say in particular bucket you want to create object. Yes, you can create it. Then click on create. Okay. Then you want to update it. Update is what? Nothing but your version control.
Okay.
You used the version control, right?
Yeah.
So there it is executed. Put object. Put object, what it will do? It will go and update the object information. Physically saying one object you have created it with particular name, right? Then that is going to be added with different versions.
Yeah, correct.
When you are adding different versions, you are updating that particular component. That's the thing. Then when you say get, get the contents of the object means like you want to click on that particular object. Yes, it displays the content. What are the contents? If it is image, image is going to be displayed. If it is a text file contents are going to be displayed. Right? If it is XML code, yes, XML contents are going to be displayed. Simple. So when you apply get bucket information also, it can display. Object information also, it can display.
Yeah.
That is the thing. So get operation is there for bucket and object also, and delete operation is there for both. Bucket you can delete it, you can delete object level also, right?
Yeah,
so
correct.
these are the operations in the backend. It will be executed by AWS services, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, let me go back to your this one. Now, where are we? When you create a pre-signed URL for your object, you must provide your security credentials and specify bucket name, object key, the HTTP method to get to download the object. What is that get? Get is nothing but it is getting the object.
Object.
So when you click on download, that time also get is going to execute. When you click on display the object, get is going to execute it. Right?
Yeah, correct.
And an expiration date need to be mentioned it. How many days you are giving the access? Just like user ID access, you are giving user ID. How many days they are giving? 30 days. After 30 days, password is going to be expired from the network people.
Same.
There is a predefined daemon process they will create in the network monitoring tools. It will keep on searching for the ID's expiration date. Am I right?
Yeah.
Network guys, what they do? They write backend scripts to put them into daemon process, right? Through the network management, that script is going to be executed as a daemon process. Keep on checking all the IDs in the network. At the same time, security policies also they can create in the network. How it is? They can write a script to verify user IDs, internet access URLs also in the backend, right?
Yes.
The similar way here also, object expiration date is there. There should be a verification process like network verification, how you are doing it. Right? The pre-signed URLs are valid only for the specified duration. As we mentioned the expiration date, according to that it verifies that. That is particularly useful to protect against content scraping of web content such as media files stored in Amazon S3. This kind of things, as I said, trial version, trial ID you created on Netflix or Prime Video, then 15 days they might have given it. Then that 15 days only you will be having access to particular movies. Those movies URLs are pre-signed URLs. That is given access to your user ID.
User, okay.
Simple. So you got the business to implement this kind of process. You create a movie site. That movie site can be used in S3, and in S3 what happens? You can give declaration to particular user IDs.
Yeah.
Right? Now movie site guy, what he will do? He will say you register ID. Okay, when you are registered, what happens? That ID is going to be executed in the backend through the CLI script to include that particular user ID for that bucket. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
Now tell me one thing, if you create a test ID on Netflix or Prime Video, what are the steps they need to use it for S3 object declaration? They need to create a bucket for that particular user. Right?
And give permission for that user?
No, there are some more steps. So they need to download the object URLs there.
Yeah, correct.
They need to create that particular object URLs. What is that movie URL, right? They'll give only specific movies access. They won't give all the accesses, right?
Oh, yeah.
If that is the restriction, what they are supposed to do, they are supposed to download the object into that bucket, and that URL need to be presented there in the bucket web page.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Then that URL or bucket access permissions need to be given up to particular number of days. Right? Then once it is done, yes, you will get the access. They will say we will send the email, wait for some time. Right? What they are doing in the meanwhile, they are going to create automated scripts in the CLI, execute them. Right?
Okay.
So now you got the implementation scenario, right, for this.
Yeah, list of users they can filter and which are all free users on specific period. For example, 15 days.
Right. Now let us note down these steps here. What are the steps for accessing the pre-signed URLs? Let us create the scenario. How to assign a pre-signed URL to a movies streaming web page. Right? This is the one. So what are the steps? First step is get the user ID.
Get the user.
Right? Second step is create the bucket.
Create a bucket.
User ID, right? Then third one is
upload the objects.
Move the streaming, I mean movie files into the user bucket as objects. Then give access to this bucket up to 2 weeks. Right? Then fifth one is what they are supposed to do.
Give access to this bucket of 2 weeks.
Then declare
the
bucket and objects
as a public.
No, not public. To access by the user. What you are supposed to do here? Add the user IDs into the object and bucket access permissions. Is the correct? This correct, na? Terminology.
Oh yes. Declare the bucket and object to access user. Add the user's IDs into the objects and bucket access permissions.
Right. Yeah. Now once it is declared, now release the URL to the user. Okay, here one more thing what you are supposed to do, get the user ID. Okay,
create a group for
you need to add this user ID into your group and add it into a security. Am I right?
Okay, create a group, that group added to the specific security.
Yeah, add it into security group, right? It should have access permissions, right? See, what is that security group does? It has only readable access. With the access only, right?
So here the IAM role will play here, right?
Yeah, IAM role will play. When you talk about security role, IAM role will play, right?
Yeah, correct.
We can't say publicly IAM role, but for your identification, I am putting this. Right? Is it done? Steps?
Yes.
Now test the
URL.
Test the user ID for this access. Okay, literally this exercise you please do it at your holidays and test it.
Okay.
Because that time you might have time. You can try that. Then let me know that.
Yes.
No, this is the way we are supposed to create the scenarios basically. With the live options, right?
Yeah, correct.
How to host movie files on a bucket. This is the lab. You might have seen some of the sites, these certification test files they are hosting on S3 Object.
Certification.
What is that? Amazon is giving 750 hours, right? They'll create one dummy ID, on that they can host all these things, right? Only simple files, right?
Yeah.
Simple files that also IA access, they'll choose it, they can host these files on the IA access, right? IA is cheaper than standard, right?
Yeah, correct.
It will not be for Glacier, but IA will be there. What is there? One simple file they'll create in a text format or Word document. They'll host it as a website, right?
Yeah, correct.
I have seen many sites actually. They are using Amazon URL. That way also you can host it, right? So this is the scenario we can have for this kind of thing, pre-signed URLs. Then you have a pre-signed URL. You can also say, now test the user ID for this pre-signed URL. That's all. Right. So you got the scenario. Now let us go through this one, diagrams. If you see here, what is the process or mechanism it has inside, right? Now you see here, first step is user is there, user is requesting the file. There is application server. One API call will go to the S3. Then from S3, it is going to the bucket. Bucket, it is going to verify the create time-bound pre-signed URL to bucket object. Here we have a lot of steps to be created. What are the steps here? If you see, Here if you see all these steps, you are creating a bucket on the user ID name, then you are moving the streaming files and creating them as object, right? Then after that you are declaring the bucket and object to be accessed by the user using the permission tab. Then your user ID will be ready. So now when user ID is ready, fourth step, you are intimating to the user by email. Then what user is going to do? He is going to use number five step, which is testing the ID with the pre-signed user ID to opt for download the file or something like that. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Then here also you need to see one more step. You also can give permissions to download the file. That option also is very important. You need to see that.
So when you're creating the objects, right? So it won't be as a public. So we have to define as a public, and then you have to give option to download that.
No. Public definition is different. Permissions definition is different.
If it's make to public, it will be access to everyone, not to.
Yeah, see, you have a permissions tab, access permissions, right? In that you want to create to your group. It is asking. In the screen, right?
Yeah.
So that way you need to really work around or walk around through the tabs.
Okay.
Understand and map to this task. See, you have lot of options here, all these things, right? For each option, different tabs you need to use it. You have done in the beginning, right? We had done one wrong thing, then later on we corrected it.
Yeah, correct.
When we had wrong things, security options problems were there, right? You remember that screens?
Yeah, I've seen.
Then later on corrected it. Then later on again you created a fresh object and released like a bucket website kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. The same thing you will be doing it. Only thing is you need to find some files. You really use the movie files only. Small files you can use it. What is there? 10 minutes, 5 minutes videos are thousands are there on YouTube video. You download them, just try to use them. Host them also. Then try to play around. Then that is the real exercise. Right?
Okay.
Right. So this has got very value addition for lot of scenarios, live scenarios. This particular right? Pre-signed URL. Now let us move forward. Now, what is multi-part upload? Normally, what happens? You take any physical file. You want to take a backup in a traditional manner in a tape or disk.
Yeah, correct.
You take a mini systems like Linux mini systems. You give a tar command. What it does when it is storing in a tape or some magnetic storage media, it will divide the files internally into different parts to take the backup. We don't know that internally what it is doing. It will not display anything, right?
Yeah.
Then it will initiate it. You see in this diagram, uploading file. It will initiate it. First, it will divide into different things. Okay, it is 1 GB file totally. Then there are different blocks. So initiate multi-part upload, then separate the object into multi-parts. So when it is initiated, it will have some 4 parts or 5 parts. That is internal mechanism of the tar command between the system and tape.
Okay, yeah.
Separate object into multi-parts. Then upload the parts in any order, one at a time or in parallel also. Then complete the upload. This way what happens, it will be faster also. Even if you say the network traffic will have multi-part requests to upload the file. What is multi-part? Each task is divided into separate upload activities.
Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So that way what happens? It has created the block to upload that block is divided into 5 parts or 4 parts, right? Then each part will have upload option into that blocks, right?
Yeah, correct.
So parallelly it can be done. Then it will be faster also, right? So
Yeah.
once it is uploaded, the reading path will come from step 1. The first part, second part, third part are there, right? Let us say you take a 2 GB movie file. So nowadays, if you see in the videos, YouTube or somewhere, 1020 or 1080 pixel size movies are there, high density, they say, high definition
High
television
definition. Yes.
pixels. That will have minimum 2 GB for a 2-hour movie or 2.5 hours movie, right?
Yeah,
Then that 2 GB is divided into different parts when you want to upload it. Then that way it is done. So this is the mechanism everywhere it is there. In internet also, upload option works that way only. That is the way it is designed. The particle upload magnetic particles basically, right? It means it is taking particular device. That device is blocked it for different blocks to store this file by seeing the space. Do you remember, if you want to copy from your hard disk to the pen drive, first the copy command will verify the size of the availability space. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
So what it is doing? It is doing this operation. Can I have this much size on the source from target into the target? Right?
Yeah, correct.
So this is the multi-part upload options. Let us read the sequence of actions, what it is doing. To better support uploading or copying a large objects, Amazon S3 provides the multi-part upload API. Basically, this is a application programming interface. It divides into different parts. This allows you to upload large objects as a set of parts, which generally gives better network utilization through parallel transfers. So what are the parallel transfers? These are the activities it is done. Right?
So the single file can be split multiple uploads.
Yes, multiple uploads, but it will not show to us it is doing multiple uploads. It is internal mechanism. Okay. Then the ability to pause and resume. Yes, you can pause the upload also together for all the blocks. And the ability to upload objects where the size is initially unknown. Initially it is not unknown, it is not known, but when you are dividing into that, it will sum up all the parts of the size, then it will verify the destination size. It will check and tell the message it is not available, space is not available, you delete some more files, such kind of messages will come. Right? So multi-part third is multi-part upload is a 3-step process: initiation, uploading, parts, and completion. Yes, we have seen these things. Okay. Now parts can be uploaded independently in arbitrary order with retransmission if needed. Retransmission is if that part is not uploaded, the internet is disturbed, it disconnected. Later on you can continue that. Let us say now you are downloading one movie file through one tool. There are multiple tools to download the file. Am I right?
Yes.
That tool will have this kind of mechanism. Which block is copied into the local disk, it will check that and it will restart that from that part. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that is the process. After all the parts are uploaded, S3 assembles the parts in order to create an object. You see, when you download the movie file, initially it will create the file object. Am I right?
Yeah. It's not a fully downloaded file. It's kind of partially.
Yeah, name will be created.
Name
Icon
will
will not
be
be shown like a movie icon.
movie.
It will
Yeah,
show
correct.
file icon, MP4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, correct.
Then when that process is download process is completed, it is downloaded, but still it is going to do this particular task in the backend.
Backend. Okay.
After few minutes, you will see the icon, movie icon.
Movie. Yeah, correct.
Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
So this is the activity it is doing. It is reassembles all the parts in order to create the final object. into the disk, right?
Yeah.
In generally, you should use multi-part upload for objects larger than 100 megabytes, and you must use multi-part upload for objects larger than 5 GB, right? So because of the size and download time it will take it, right? Same way, whatever you are doing multi-part upload, download also it works the same way, because what you are doing, you are uploading into the S3 bucket, right? From the local disk, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
The same thing, you can download it into your local disk from S3 URL also. The same process should work for our hard disk downloading also, right? Then when using the low level APIs, you must break the file to be uploaded into parts and keep track of the parts. Let us say if you have a 5 GB file, there is a limitation to create the object.
Okay.
What they say is you create them into different parts. How it can divide it? You give the tasks to S3. That object options. Then it will create part 1, part 2, part 3. You take a movie file. Movie file, if it is more than 2 GB or 5 GB files, you can split them into different parts. The options are available there. You check those options also. Right, I'll write one more thing. The options for multi-part upload. You don't need to worry about the size. Just take one movie file, 1 hour, 2 hours movie file, and try to upload it using the multi-part upload.
Okay.
S3 bucket, right? This is another exercise you can consider it. Kind of thing.
Multi-port of
Yes.
upload.
No, photos don't use. Photos are very small size.
Multi-part.
You should have some movie files, right?
Yeah.
You take them, let it go into part 1, part 2. Then those parts are divided into sub-objects, kind of logical specifications.
But in the back end, it will do all these parts.
Yeah, no, you have to divide them into parts. Part 1, part 2. What is the size you want to upload? Part 1 file. What is the size part 2 file? Such kind of things.
Okay.
You check the options. It should be available. I have seen somewhere in some of the Windows, yes. Right? Now, when using the high-level APIs, the high-level S3 commands in the AWS CLI, AWS S3 CP, S3 move, S3 sync, all these things are available in CLI. What are these commands? CP is for copying, S3 is moving, then synchronization is synchronizing all the parts into single part. Then that is declared as object.
Okay.
That is the thing. So multi-part upload is automatically performed for large objects. So the best practices are you can set an object lifecycle policy on a bucket to abort incomplete multi-part uploads after a specified number of days. So basically, you need to look for lifecycle policy. This is also available. Lifecycle policy, we have seen that, but we haven't used it.
Yeah, correct.
Then this will minimize the storage costs associated with multi-part uploads that were not completed. Basically, you need to track all these things. Now let us see this diagram. This is a movie file diagram, second diagram. S3 and working with large files. How they are working? You have, let us say, you have a big file. These are the big files. These files are in the development kit somewhere. Some developer is working with the Lambda usage. What is doing? Multi-part upload JSON file might be created it here. Then they are divided into different parts with some megabytes space or up to some blocks. Then after that it is storing into the S3 bucket, right? Then it is a 5 terabyte size of the object, overall object. That object is going to be synchronized into a single object to display to the customer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
When you go to the lab to look into the option, you should keep this slide parallelly. Check these steps also.
Okay.
Then you will be able to catch up.
Multipart.
Okay. Yes. So this is another exercise maybe for your vacation.
Okay.
You are booked with AWS activities. Right. Now it is clear, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. Now let us see. In this, we are at still advanced features only. We are talking about advanced features, all the advanced. In reality, lab we have used very basic features.
Oh, yes.
But these are the advanced features you are supposed to expose it.
Yes.
What is range gets? It is possible to download only a portion of an object in both Amazon S3 and Amazon Glacier by using something called range get. This also you need to get explore. Okay. Using the range HTTP header in the get request or equivalent parameters in one of the SDK wrapper libraries, you specify the range of bytes of the object to download it, basically. Right? Okay. Then this can be useful in dealing with large objects when you have poor connectivity or download only a known portion of the large Amazon Glacier backup. Right? Basically what happens when you declare it to download, you remember one of the policies in Glacier we discussed it. It will have monthly 5% discount, free download from Glacier. Let us say you uploaded 5 terabyte one file, backup file, database instance.
Okay.
Then that file can be divided into different parts. Within that 5% of the discounted price, you can keep downloading that stage by stage. Then one point of time you will have multi-parts, 5 parts or 10 parts or something. Then you need to synchronize all those files using the Amazon S3 sync command in CLI. We have seen in the earlier screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. What is sync command does it here after copying all the part of the files? Then you are moving into one location. Then you are using the sync option to synchronize the whole object. Because Amazon has got its own mechanism to identify the parts of the files for particular category of the file.
Okay.
Then it combines it. Right? Then it declares as object.
So even store in the local storage, it will be splitted files will be stored, and then
splitted files will be there. If you see in Linux, there is a command called split and csplit.
Okay.
What that does, it split the file physically into different parts. Have you tried that?
No, not.
In fact, I have used it many times in my career when I was a programmer. Okay. So you can combine them also. There is another utility, you can combine those files also. Merging them. Merging sequence also you can give one by one what sequence you want to merge it. Okay, take a typical ASCII file, data file. You have a .csv file is nothing but ASCII data file, right?
Yeah.
The data file, if you have 1 GB file, you can split them into different files. Right?
Yeah.
And later on you want to combine, yes, there is the opposite command is there to combine that.
So it will help to upload and download very huge files, will be less bandwidth to upload.
When you want to copy that files into a device, you can split that file into different parts. Small size files can be copied. Then later on, when you are having all the backup of the copies somewhere into another folder, you can copy them and combine them into a single file. But the sequence should be in the same way.
Okay.
Here also what AWS S3 does is it will download into a multi-part segments, and later on you can use the sync command to combine them. When you give the command for part 1, part 2 like that, it will have its own algorithm for that process.
Got it.
Then it will be combined it. Right? So this can be useful in dealing with large objects when you have poor connectivity. Let us say a network is very slow. You take an example of simple mobile access, mobile internet access. When you have mobile access, you connect to the laptop, you want to download, yes, you can download it with that speed only.
Yeah.
How much size it will have? 128 kbps or something. It will not have gbps, right? Mobile internet.
No.
If you are taking that kind of size, yes, you can use it, but very less speed is there currently, right, for the mobile internet.
Yeah.
In such cases, you can divide them into parts. Right? Now, this is all clear, right? How the gets are working here.
Yeah, correct.
Basically, get is going to work to divide them into different parts to download through the HTTP protocol. What is HTTP protocol? Nothing but internet access.
Internet access. Oh.
Right? Now, let us see what is cross-region replication. Cross-region replication is a feature of Amazon S3 that allows you to asynchronously replicate all new objects in the source bucket in one region to a target bucket in another region. It means it is nothing but it is mapping the objects to another bucket which is created into another region. Right?
Yeah.
We are not using the same bucket across all regions to work on it. The current region bucket contents can be shared to other buckets. Right? See, let us say you have created one bucket in Mumbai region. Then again you go to another region like Singapore region or Virginia region or London or somewhere. Then create another bucket. Now it will have options also to share, to access the other bucket information.
So it will be charged or for
charging is separate here. These operations they are saying about the features they are talking. Charging is there is a calculator for that, right? It is a mapping part. Then in that region, when you have created that bucket, you have to click on the charge options. See that how it is going to be charged.
In the free tier, can we check this cross-region replication?
Yeah, you have to check online basically for those things. See what they are using here. Taking Amazon data center as a whole, the OS is as a whole S3 OS. S3 is also a server, nothing but. You take instances concept in Amazon. What is S3? You are creating a bucket. In the bucket, you have different objects. What they are doing, another bucket, they are mapping with these objects. Mapping is nothing but Linux link file, right?
Yes.
Same concept they are using it. In Linux, you go to another user ID or another folder, you can link the files also. When you are giving a ls command, it will list all the linked files also, but with arrow mark, it will be shown.
Sure. Good.
Right? That is the concept they are saying it. That they are not saying about the Linux commands or anything, but I am for your understanding purpose, I am giving the example.
Yeah, concept base is like similar to the.
Yes, similar in the back end how they are using it, because as user you will feel, oh, you don't need to download and create all these objects with efforts, all these things you will feel it. But in reality, being a technical guy, infra guy, yes, these are the technology they are using it.
Yes.
Right? Now, any metadata ACLs associated with the object are also part of the replication. Yes, ACLs are associated with objects. You remember with the objects you can create ACLs.
Right. Yeah, correct.
We can create security levels also, all those things. So everything is associated it. Again, the same user IDs can be used it also. After you set up a cross-region replication on your source bucket, any changes to the data or metadata or ACLs on an object trigger a new replication to the destination bucket. Once you are done that exercise, yes, everything is going to be done. Now, I want to give one more exercise here. I mean, let us note down whether you are doing or not in your vacation. Use cross-region replication procedure to host your current bucket objects into another region bucket. Right? That is another thing. Right? Now, I mean, at least if you explore on the screen those options, if questions comes related to lab, you will be geared up.
Yeah, sure.
That's correct. Okay. So ACLs are there. Then what are the other things? We'll see. To enable cross-region replication, versioning must be turned on for both source and destination buckets. This is another part, right? Versioning, why it should be turned on? Because you have a versioning process here. It should be available with other bucket also to accept these objects. You are declaring this bucket as sharing bucket. When you have declared cross-region replication, it is nothing but sharing the bucket information. When you are sharing it, that bucket properties also should be equivalent.
Yeah, then only it
yes.
Do the
Right. You must use IAM policy to give S3 permissions to replicate objects on your behalf. Okay. So you need to see what are the IAM policies on the bucket screen. Right? Then what is the cross-region replication? Is commonly used to reduce the latency required to access objects in S3 by placing objects closer to a set of users or to meet requirements to store backup data at a certain distance from the original source data. Let us say now all these guys, movie hosting companies in the internet, what they are doing? They're asking the users across globe to create, right? Now we are in Mumbai region. They are having the source bucket somewhere in Virginia or some other location, 90 degrees angle in the globe from our location to their location, right? Now, when you are creating user ID, they are supposed to give the access with low latency. Am I right?
Yeah.
Take that scenario. If they want to give with faster access, what happens? You are supposed to set up this kind of system with your user ID. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now let us say these files all are Amazon Prime Video files are there in North America, but you are in Mumbai region. What they are going to do once your ID is created, whatever access permissions are there, they will map all those things to your bucket. Now tell me, lakhs of ID.
They will create a bucket in Mumbai region and replicate the objects to this specific region.
Yes, it is just synchronization only.
Synchronization. So that user from Mumbai can access those files.
Yes.
Not without any latency on the network.
Yes. Yes. You stream the file, Prime Video file, which is English movies also or any movies also. You will see very faster access.
Faster. The real scenario, just a concept.
Yes, you compare with YouTube. YouTube movies somewhere uploaded in some other location in the globe. And you compare with the Prime Video. So they should be using this mechanism, being Amazon company, right? So that's where it comes very fast. Not only Amazon, even Netflix also, it is the same policy. They might have used it in the backend.
Netflix using the Amazon cloud, right?
I don't know exactly, but if they are using AWS cloud, the same mechanism will apply. Even though if it is not AWS, even if they are using Azure or OpenStack or some other thing, but this feature should be available.
Available. Okay.
See, this is nothing but Linux link command option,
Mm-hmm.
file link. But in the front end, some screens will be there to create that kind of links to that folder, right? See, in the beginning, we have seen S3 is nothing but a dummy hard disk. In that dummy hard disk, you need to operate with Linux commands in the backend. With Linux commands, you might use containers or Linux containers or Docker containers that we don't know what they are using in the backend. But front end, it is presented to us with different options.
Awesome.
That's all. That is the business, right?
Yeah.
So now let us see the. So what you are supposed to do here? One more action. Is there any action to do in the lab?
Lab, you can create a bucket on different region and check the objects how to share.
Yeah, it is part of this, right?
Part of this.
Yeah, we have already documented. Now, this is another thing you can look into bucket operations. One thing we have done, good thing is before starting the theoretical part, we exposed a little bit lab. Now we are exploring to the advanced features.
Yeah, correct.
So that is one advantage. Right. Now here if you see best practice, if turned on in existing bucket, cross-region replication will only replicate new objects. It means if that bucket is linked to this bucket, whatever you are going to do in future, new objects upload, it will appear there.
So it's not for the existing objects.
Yes. No, existing objects already you declared it, right? Link is declared it. What they are saying is you don't need to redo the linking of the objects with the S3 bucket. See, let us say you created a bucket and mapped to this bucket. When you map it, whatever objects are there, everything is appearing. But whenever you are uploading new objects, it is going to be replicated there. That replication process is assigned to that particular bucket. And you are supposed to make sure in the base source bucket, you need to turn on the existing bucket option for cross-region replication. That's the reason of saying best practice.
Okay, you mean say you can turn on and off the replications of buckets.
Yes, yes, yes. See, once you declared as a base information into the second bucket in the other region, it will have all the existing objects. But if you turn on the cross-region replications, whatever you are going to create in future, it will be existing in the second bucket also. Existing objects will not be replicated and must be copied to the new bucket via a separate command. Let us say you have created 10 objects in bucket 1. Now you created a new bucket. In that bucket, you want to replicate the current objects. You need to copy them into the bucket via separate command. So what is that command? It will give the instructions on the screen itself. Once that base bucket information is copied into that, yes, it is going to be replicated there also. But in future, whatever objects you are going to upload into the base bucket, if you want them to be replicated, option can be turned on.
Correct.
So these are the steps he is saying in the best practices. You got the point?
Yeah, similar like even in the destination bucket, the sync is off. If I delete any object from the source, but that object will be present in the existing, destination bucket.
Yes, yes.
Only if it's synced, then only the object will be deleted from the source as well as from the destination.
Right. Right. So basically, the policy is you create a replication bucket, region replication bucket. After that, you need to copy the base objects, whatever is available in the current bucket. Use the copy command, it will be replicated there. Then in future, you want automatically replication. You need to switch on that button. If you don't want new objects to be replicated in the second bucket, you can turn off it. You want to give access to particular set of objects, again you do the copy command. Am I right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, very good. Now, let us see these diagrams also. What are these? What are parallel gets? Use range-based gets to get multi-threaded performance when downloading objects. Compensates for unreliable networks. Benefits of multi-threaded parallelism. Align your ranges with your parts. Basically, file parts can be created. Okay, using the multi-get option, you can download, upload, such kind of things can happen. This is the first diagram related with gets. Then related to this CRR, cross-region replication. I'll increase the size.
Yeah.
One minute. It is 80%. Okay. Anyhow, it is visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You take region 1, region 2. There are two regions here. Region 1 is, it is monitoring the bucket operations. Let us say you have object, you have source bucket, and you have Cloud Trail, Amazon CloudWatch. SNS is there for notifications. SQS is there for queue service. Lambda functions are there. Now, Amazon Kinesis Firehouse is there for managing big data or large database, which is connected to DynamoDB also, right? Then there is a bucket. What it is doing in this region, it is storing the objects into the buckets. Okay. Now let us take example of Netflix or Prime Video. What they are supposed to do? They need to keep pushing movies as objects. While pushing, what they are supposed to do? They are supposed to take big movie files into different parts and streamline those things to upload into the bucket. Then after that, they need to synchronize it. Am I right? Once it is synchronized, a single file will be combined into all multi-part files will be combined into single file. So you use the get command for multi-part split updates, uploading. Then you synchronize that file into a single file. You are hosting that file as a movie file. That entire options are used here while creating the object. Once object is created, yes, it is going to be stored into the DynamoDB. Then once it is done, it is going to be operated through particular options. Now in the region 2, what you are going to do? You are creating a cross-region replication. You don't need all this architecture there in the second region. You need only mapping. Mapping purpose, what you are supposed to do, destination bucket need to be created. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
After creating destination bucket, it will be mapped with the Cloud Trail, CloudWatch, SNS, all these things. Because these are mandatory options to know what is stored in the bucket in other regions. Am I right? You don't need database setup, Kinesis setup, all these things, right? Why SNS is required means notification is required. CloudWatch why is required is who is streaming this particular bucket. That purpose we are watching it. Then Cloud Trail is nothing but it is having auditing purpose. Which ID used it, which ID did not use, such kind of verification. Right?
Yeah.
These are only for security and communication purpose we are using these. But logically speaking, there is a physical bucket, it is mapped to that bucket, all these things. Now you tell me, is it the similar concept of file links in Linux?
But yeah, the concept is same, but not much more knowledge on that Linux linking files.
File link does
Filing
whatever updates you are doing in the source file, it is
source
appearing
file.
there.
It's like kind of disk mirroring, like RAID 0 concept in Windows.
Here, disk mirroring concept is different. Disk mirroring, when you say entire disk contents are enabled to view other place. Disk mirroring is a copy basically. It is not a link. The link is you are viewing the source files from particular location. That is given access to look into that.
Okay.
Only that particular files. Here, if you want to declare only particular files in this object, you can declare it without keeping that option on, cross CRR option.
Oh, yeah.
Or you want to synchronize in the bucket whatever files are getting uploaded in source bucket, you can turn on the object that CRR option, then it will be shown there.
Okay.
Then notifications will be communicated, then CloudWatch is going to be operated, then CloudTrail is going to monitor that. Because these are mandatory for security features purpose. Let us say you have created test IDR, same process you think it. Now you are in Mumbai region. This guy, they stored in somewhere in Virginia or somewhere in North America. Then what happens? You are going to have link here in your region with your ID. In your ID, what are the steps you have done it? These are the steps you have done it earlier, right?
Yeah.
You have released the objects. Now in CRR, what you have done it? You are declaring those things. When you are declared it, automatically what happens? Whatever you are releasing these IDs, these URLs, it is going to be accessed by the user in the near location.
Correct.
This is required for maintain the low latency. It means access is faster. Right? Right?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, you take this entire process one more time. Initially, you are creating a bucket. After that, you are declaring that bucket for a destination region. Then internally, it has got all these setup. It is storing in the DynamoDB, all those things. Whatever not working with the DynamoDB directly, just front-end options or CLI options, we are using it.
Got it.
The AWS system is taking care in the backend. Right? Then CRR monitoring also will be done. What CRR cross-region replications, how many buckets you have created it. Mapping purpose. Right? You can check one option and immediately destroy the bucket.
Okay.
That's all. But you can't destroy unless you remove that link. This source cannot be destroyed because source, if you are destroying, it will say it is linked. First you go and remove that. It will say this one you can remove like a child object. Then you come back here, then you remove this bucket. This total exercise is going to be 1.5 to 2 hours for you.
Yeah.
Because objects need to be declared public, bucket need to be declared public. No, it's not public. Assign particular user ID in this exercise. Right?
Yeah, create users and assign groups.
Yes.
Login or yeah.
This kind of situation where it is useful is, let us say one project is going on across globe in all.
Hello. Oh, okay. I lost the video.